Hey everybody, this is Tom at Talent Guitar Works. I am a repair facility licensed and insured in Southwest Florida over by Englewood, Port Charlotte area. Today, I've got a real important video. This one is going to save you hopefully thousands of dollars over your whole term of guitar playing from about the time you're, let's say, a medium skilled guitar player on. And that's your neck profile and understanding what's going on with the neck profiles. Now, I downloaded a bunch of sheets and printed them off from the computer on various manufacturers and what they say about different neck profile designs and who these neck profile designs best suit. And, this information's all out there. You can find it. So let's go backwards and think, all right, how do I know which neck I like? Well, you've got this hand here, and this is called your thanner notch, or the thanner space of your hand between your index finger and your thumb. And this is the thanner extremis that has the muscles that control this thumb to make it do amazing things. And you have to understand how that design fits the back of a neck. People will say, well, if you've got big hands, you like big necks. Not necessarily true. What you have to do is play the guitar. If you start getting any cramping in your hands, or you're constantly doing this, you have the wrong profile neck. We started out and they thought, okay, a C-shaped neck. And then they went to the hard V, which was originally the V. And they said, no, that's way too much. So then they went to the soft V. And then they went to the modern C, and they went to the U and the D. And they're all out there. The guitar profile that's comfortable to you is the guitar profile you should look for. Now, on a bolt-on neck like a Stratocaster or Telecaster, that may not be that big of a deal, because you could call one of these people, like, I want to see the name of it because I thought they were pretty interesting. I haven't been on their site yet. The Guitar Mill, and where you could pick your guitar neck shape and they'll send you a guitar neck, within, they say, within 100th of tolerance. So, hey, they may be somebody you want to look at and say, I want you to build me a neck for my Strat or my Tele, or any other guitar that's a bolt-on that you could remove the old neck and put the new neck on, maybe transfer your tuning machines over. If you can't do that, and you have your set neck option, and you have also your neck through options, you've got what you've got. So I know a lot of people bought Les Pauls in the two different neck models, which is the 50s and the 60s neck. Now, if you go on Reverb's sales thing for the year, they'll say they sold a lot of Les Pauls, but on the resale thing, Les Pauls kind of moved to the top again, which means people are buying these guitars and realizing they got the wrong neck profile and reselling the used guitar, and very probably going and getting the correct neck profile that they wanted. And all of this is just designed to make this comfortable for you to play, so you can sit there all day and play it. Now, what I do applaud is the Jeff Beck and the Eric Johnson, two signature guitars from Fender, the Strats. They have a specific neck profile for Jeff Beck and for Eric Johnson. And Stu Mac has a template for those. Stu Mac has lots of templates, and I own lots of the Stu Mac templates because I've got to find out what neck I'm looking for when a customer comes in and says, hey, I want you to make me a neck, or I want you to procure a neck for me that is in these specifications. Well, I've got to know what I'm dealing with. Now, some of the specifications you need to look at on necks is the nut width, the thickness of the neck, at the 1st fret, they usually go at the 7th fret, and it will tell you all that information on a guide like this from StewMac. If you look real close in there, it's got all the little specs for what that is. Now, these are from $10 to $16 a piece. Had I known back in the day what my neck profile was, I would have bought the one, and back then it was probably $3. I would have bought the one profile template I needed, and I wouldn't even looked at a guitar and tried to play it if it didn't really come close to that profile. Because that's part of your muscle memory and helps with your speed, and everybody goes, well, slow is fast, and smooth is slow, and slow is fast, and smooth is fast, and all that stuff. And it's true. The easier it is for your muscles to work off of memory and move along the fretboard and for you to hold that guitar neck, the better you're going to be able to play. Within reason. If you have no talent, I can't help you on that one. But, you know, you get what I'm saying. You're going to have a better advantage on a neck that fits you and is contoured to you. Now, the other part of this is the fretboard radius. And radiuses on fretboards go all the way from what I've seen, 7.25 inches on the radius, all the way up into the 20s. And everybody and their brother's got these radius hoops, and you put them on the guitar. And there's also the compound radiuses, and usually they're just a 2-inch difference. The most common is a 10 to 12-inch radius, where it starts out at the 1st fret as a 10-inch radius, and as it goes down to the 12th and further 15th and 21st frets and so on, it gets into the 12-inch radius. Guys that like to shred like a flatter radius, the John Petrucci, I think, comes, the Majesty comes with a 16-inch radius, I'm pretty sure. It depends on what your playing style is, if you want to go into the radius thing. Now, having said that, will the 7.25 radius with your neck profile versus your neck profile with the 16-inch radius, will that hurt your hand? I'm guessing probably not. You're looking at you know, a minor fretboard radius difference, and if you're buying that guitar so you could play open chords, cowboy chords, you know, way up the neck or at the bottom of the neck, that's fine. You know, that's cool. That's what you wanted to do with it. But usually the neck radius and the neck profile kind of go hand in hand too. Like most of the 7.25 radiuses I've seen have been on the soft V, modern V, or the hard V necks. So they kind of go together. You're also looking at your nut width, and you're looking at the width at the 12th fret, and that's going to help with your muscle memory and get you in there. Now, Paul Reed Smith makes, I want to say 4 different necks. He makes a pattern thin, a pattern thick, and one in between there. And that's an issue. If somebody's going in and they're buying that Paul Reed Smith because of that 10 top, and they're not buying that guitar because of that neck, that's a big mistake, man. You're never going to play that guitar. You know, you could tell if you have a guitar collection, if you've got 3 or 4 guitars, and there's always one guitar you're going to, and it's got the same pickups as some of the other ones, that's what it is. It's your ability to sit and play that guitar comfortably as long as you want. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about today is, well, 2 things. I'm going to talk about the asymmetric neck. And what that means, a symmetrical neck means both sides of the neck are the same profile. There have been artists like Wolfgang Van Halen and I think it was Eric Johnson, both like a neck that's kind of moved to one side. So as they come down the neck, it's moving with their hand. The center line of that neck is going from this side, center, back over. And that's fine. If that's going to make you play better and you know that, go with it. Try one of those necks. Now, the last thing is, I don't want to be a shill for StewMac, and I'm not going to StewMac and buying that. There's got to be a better way. Well, this don't shoot me. This is a StewMac gauge, a contour gauge. But contour gauges are made everywhere. You can get one at your local hardware store. If you lay the neck flat and you push the contour gauge down at the 12th fret, or for your use, whatever fret you want, if you're going in and you're going to make templates, and wherever you press that down, and then lock her up. Now I've just made the contour of that neck, right? All right, so I could transfer this onto a piece of cardboard and cut that section out, and I could go at the first fret, usually it's 1st, 7th, and 12th is what they do. And then on set necks, they like to do the heels. And you can get down here close. But then you can trace your template out on this and carry this with you. You could, as small as it is, you can fold it in half and keep it in your wallet whenever you walk into a guitar store. Check the neck profile before you go ahead and even play that guitar. I mean, I'm not saying don't experiment and try other neck profiles, but if you've got one that's the most comfortable for you, that's the one you should get every single time. Now, I talked about novice guitar players to experienced guitar players. All right, if you're 8 years old and you're a novice guitar player and your hand's going to grow, that may change. Something to be aware of. It's like little kids with shoes. You're always buying them shoes every year. Their feet keep growing. Generally, though, the profile, you know, the shape of that fan or gap there is going to remain the same, and their size is just going to increase or decrease. One of the other things is, can you have, because I'm going to get this argument, and it's going to be, I like this profile on my Fender Stratocaster and Telecaster, and I like this profile on my Gibson Les Paul. Something we didn't talk about. Scale length. The shorter the scale length, the less tension there is on the strings, and it makes a difference on how the guitar plays. So a 24 3/4 inch scale length plays much differently than a 25.5 inch scale length or a 25. And if anybody's drop tuned a bass, a full step, and noticed they had spaghetti strings, they know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as you start switching that scale length around, you have a whole different ball game you're dealing with. So if you're going to do it for your 25.5 inch necks and your 25s and your 24 3/4, if you go back and forth between a Les Paul and a Strat or a PRS or a Schecter or whatever it is, or a Kiesel even, hey, God bless you. Go out there and do it, go back and forth, but at least be the educated consumer that knows when they go in. That's a 60 styles neck on that Gibson, and that's a Nova for me. Or that's a 50 style neck on the Gibson, it's a Nova. Or that baseball bat on that Telecaster ain't cutting it. It's going to make you make a more informed decision, and one that's not based on the glittery finish of the guitar. Oh, that's a pretty blue guitar, I must have it. Get the pretty blue guitar that you must have with the correct profile on the neck. You'll save thousands of dollars in the long run, trust me. All right, this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. Remember, only half my ideas are any good. You got to figure out which half.